guys, it's Scott DeSalvo, the injury lawyer, and your eyes are not deceiving you. I am a little more pink than usual, a little more red than usual. That's what happens to lawyer guy when he goes out in the sun on a long weekend. So, it doesn't look too bad, I don't think. I think I avoided a sunburn. I actually tolerate the sun better as an older guy than I did when I was younger. I used to fry like an egg. Or maybe it's because sunscreen technology has gotten so good. I was out in the sun for maybe 3 hours and then thought to put sunscreen on, and I got, a little bit red. Then the next day I put sunscreen on before I even went out in the sun, and I think I'm going to have a base suntan for the summer now, so that's good. So the topic for today, and this is actually a viewer comment left under one of my YouTube videos. They wanted to know, what is it exactly that lawyers and insurance companies look at when they're trying to determine the settlement value of the case. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that in workers' comp, it really comes down to how much money you make a week and then how serious and permanent the injury is. And on third-party cases, it's the amount of the medical bills, whether the injury is permanent, whether you have big wage loss, and how credible is their argument that you caused or contributed to your injuries yourself, right? And that's in another video, so I'm not going to repeat it. But specifically to answer this viewer's question, what it really comes down to, what they were interested in is the behind-the-scenes stuff. What is it in the case that a lawyer looks at, the insurance company looks at, the judge looks at, that adds value to the case. So I'm not going to talk about how much money you make per week, because there's nothing you can really do about that. Obviously, the more money you make in a comp case, the bigger the case is going to be ultimately. And in a third-party case like a car crash, dog bite, bar fight, fall down, anything like that, the more money you make, the bigger your wage loss is per, if you're off for a month or you're off for a year, the more money you make, the bigger wage loss claim you have. That's pretty obvious, right? So here's what happens, right? So let's assume we can't settle the case. Pre-suit, it is very rare for a lawyer to hire an expert witness, right? So why would you hire an expert witness? Well, if you've watched some of my other videos on doctors, there are some doctors who are very helpful in an injury case, very cooperative, very supportive of the injured person. And then there are doctors who are supportive of the injured person, but they don't know enough about how injury cases and claims work. So they're 50% or 25% likely that something they say that they think is going to be helpful or neutral is actually going to hurt your case, which is why I always tell people, and I've got other videos on this too. And by the way, I'm referencing a lot of videos in this YouTube video. I've got well over 200 videos explaining how every kind of injury case and every aspect of an injury case works, and you can find that on my YouTube channel. All you have to do is click my channel name. It'll take you to the channel, and you can subscribe and hit the bell. And if you like the content there, give me a thumbs up, okay? But my homepage on my YouTube site is broken down by category. So you can search for the videos. There's also a search bar. So if you're on my YouTube page and you type in a question, chances are there's an answer to your question on my YouTube video. Okay, so end a commercial for that. So what is it that lawyers look for pre-suit, all that, right? Pre-suit, one of the big decisions is who you treat with, how good their medical records are, whether they will author us a letter if we need one, will they give us a statement or deposition before we file a lawsuit. Now, there are not many lawyers who ask for a report. There are not many lawyers who take a statement or take a deposition of a doctor before filing a lawsuit. Here's why I like to do it when there's time to do it, right? Your treatment needs to be pretty mature at that point. I like to do it when I can do it. A lot of doctors don't want to do it. A lot of them want to charge you $1 million to do it, and it can become cost prohibitive depending on your case. I will do it in certain cases. I will actually take a doctor's deposition before we ever file a lawsuit, because then It's like going to war and you don't know if your bullets work or not, right? So you're going to war, you're filing a lawsuit, you're heading towards trial, but only 50% of your bullets in your gun are going to work. Do you want to go to war under those circumstances? Probably not. That's what it's like for a lawyer to file a lawsuit, especially in a big, time-consuming, expensive case. To go to court, file a lawsuit, move towards trial, and not know until the case is almost at trial whether the doctors are really going to support the claim. In other words, put their hand in the air and swear or certify to tell the truth and say, yes, that incident caused that condition, that car crash, that fall down, that work injury caused the need for that surgery. And even more than that, he's messed up permanently, and he's going to need $80,000 of medical treatment in the future, and he's probably going to develop arthritis early, and he's probably going to have to retire from his profession early. Those are aspects of damages that if you establish them pre-suit, you're in a great shape. You're in a much better position. Much better position. So, I don't do it on all my cases. It has to be a substantial case. It has to be a complicated case. It has to be a case with verdict potential, because it's a big time commitment to prepare all the medical records and really prepare to take a doctor's deposition the right way. But that's what lawyers will do. I do it, we prep. We make sure our cases are prepped ideally before we ever even file a lawsuit. So that's what we shoot for. So the first step in all this of like, what are the lawyers and doctors and judges, or not lawyers, your lawyers, your insurance company, the judge, what are the behind baseball things that they're looking for? Well, they're looking for clarity on your doctor's opinions, okay? They're looking for references in the medical records that show an objective, no question injury. They want to take a look at records before your injury to make sure you didn't have the same one, or if let's say it's a back injury, let's say you had a back injury in the past, a lot of times they want to know. They want a doctor who you have a history with, who can come to court and say, yeah, I've been treating the guy, I've been his family doctor for 5 years, I looked at the medical records, he's never once had a back complaint that was bad enough for him to come and complain to me about in the 5 years I saw him. That makes the jury feel a little better. It scares the insurance company, because remember, the whole thing that insurance company and insurance company defense lawyers do is they try and throw doubt on your case. Well, maybe he already had a bad back. Maybe he's scamming the system. Maybe he hurt his back some other way. That's what they do. They try to create doubt in every possible way they can think to do it. Every possible way they can think to do it. So what's in your medical records and who you're treating with, hugely important. Do we have a doctor who will give us a deposition? Hugely important. And then the next thing that drives, so that helps us prove the baseline case, right? But another thing is proving the medical bills. So in Illinois, let's say you have $10,000 of medical bills in your case, right? $10,000 in medical bills, and let's say you had Blue Cross Blue Shield. Well, Blue Cross Blue Shield pays $2,800. You have a copay, but the doctors all take $2,800 in satisfaction of the $10,000 bill. And then after we settle a case or go to verdict on a case, it is a spider web of confusion trying to work out all the bills and all the liens and all the claims and the rights of subrogation. But my point is, we claim the full amount of the bills. The full amount of the bills is the stated price for the service. So if you go into the hospital with no insurance and your cash pay, they want the $10,000. They don't want $2,800. They only take the $2,800 because, being part of Blue Cross Blue Shield's network, Blue Cross Blue Shield sends people to that hospital, so that hospital stays busy, right? So in exchange for knowing that Blue Cross Blue Shield is going to send them 1,000 patients a month to the hospital, they agree to take less on the bills, right? That's how health insurance works. But under Illinois law, we're allowed to claim either the amount paid on the bills or the full billed amount if we have an opinion by someone, who can lay the foundation, in other words, is qualified to testify about it. Now here's the thing, I can't testify about anything because I'm the lawyer. I can ask questions, but I can't fabricate evidence. I wish I could, it would be awesome. Shortest trial ever. And you can't really testify about it because you're not a biller, you're not trained in medical billing, you don't know how they calculate the fair and reasonable amount. And the problem is that when I was a young lawyer, doctors knew something about bills. And there are still some small medical practices where the doctors are familiar with what hospital and therapy bills are. And if they can say that on the record, then instead of claiming the $2,800 that was billed, we can claim $10,000. So, as I say, like, lawyers always want you to believe that who your lawyer is the most important thing on the case, and it is very important. It's arguably more important than who the doctor is, but that's arguable. Lawyers don't like to admit that. In their advertisement, they want to tell you that they're magical and they're going to do all these things for you. That's why people end up so disappointed in their injury lawyer. They never get to talk to them, all that stuff. So it's, depresses people. If you need a lawyer, I offer a free consultation. I represent injured people, mainly in the state of Illinois, but also all over the country by co-counseling with local attorneys. And I do it different than other lawyers. I leave your file open in my office, and I'm not just sending your case out. I stay involved in the case. So we do it a little bit different. People seem to like it. I'm representing people all over the place now, and making sure people are advised and making sure that the cases are being handled the right way. But anyway, I digress. What other things does a lawyer look at, an insurance company, and a judge when they're saying, oh, the case value for settlement is XYZ, right? So we talked about the baseline of the case, right? Now we're going to talk about the flip side of that coin, the problems with the case. Now, if there are problems with the case, like it's hard, let's say it's that back injury where you did have a bad back before, but the injury made it worse. Based on references in the medical records, can we prove that it's worse? In other words, is it clearly documented that you're feeling good and you're doing all your activities, and then you have this accident and you can't do anything? Is that crystal clear in the medical records? Or are the medical records vague? Where, some doctors will regularly check in with you and ask you where your pain level is on a scale from 1 to 10. Where 0 is no pain, 1 is very little pain, 10 is excruciating pain, and going all the way up to 10. You pick a number for each body part, right? Sometimes they're really sloppy with that. Sometimes they never ask the patient that, and they just circle a number themselves without ever asking the patient. Or sometimes there's no documentation as to the degree of pain or the degree of disability or your inability to do your things, your activities of daily living and pleasurable things in life that you like to do. And if you have a doctor that never documents that, the insurance company, the defense attorney, they lick their lips. They love it because they're like, aha, based on this guy's own medical records, they're never really going to be able to prove that this guy is any worse. The jury is going to have to rely on just what he says about his pain levels, right? And if you make a claim that isn't supported by your doctor and isn't supported by your medical records, you are now in a conflict with your own doctor. And the jury's often just not going to believe you, and you're going to have you could end up with a not guilty and zero money under those circumstances, because the one thing that kills you in these cases and claims is if the jury or judge thinks you're lying about anything, they will assume that you're probably lying about everything, just the way it is. So that's why I try and make as clean a case on all of these cases as I can, and I explain it in a lot of my videos. So there's the positive stuff, right? Like the basics of the case. Do you have a good doctor? Will he link everything up? Can you prove the medical bills? Then there's the flip side of that coin, which is, are there problems with the case? Are there treatment gaps? Are you claiming a right knee complaint, and for a year year you're treating for your back and neck and there's never a reference to the right knee. And then for the first time ever, a year later, you complain of the right knee. That's going to kill your case. And, you know, I've got other videos where I discuss all that stuff in detail. The third topic I want to talk to you about what really adds value to your injury case when it comes to how an attorney assesses it, a judge assesses it, and the insurance company assesses it, comes down to how serious and permanent the injury is. Did you have a major surgery? Is there major scarring that's permanent? Are you going to have permanent consequences, permanent problems as a result that are going to last you forever? And if the answer to that stuff is yes, then the case has tremendous value. Now, here's what a lot of lawyers don't do, or they wait till the last minute to do it. They don't even think about those permanent and future damages until they're almost ready for trial. And then they try to tack it on right near the end of the case, which is a mistake. You know, you do this for a number of years and you tend to see a lot of the same injuries. A good attorney will start documenting and start planning the permanence aspects of a case right from the beginning. And, you know, it's in these kinds of cases where I will take a recorded statement or a deposition of a doctor before we even file a lawsuit, because now we have the whole case, the whole damages case laid out. The ever important causation opinion that only a doctor can give. That thing, that crash, that bar fight, that fall down caused this and caused the need for this treatment. And then the bills. These bills are for that treatment related to that incident. The charges are within the usual and customary charges in the community at the time. And now you know the full amount of the bills are going to get in. And then, same thing with that doctor. Doctor, are there any permanent consequences for, you know, this person with, you know, due to the injuries? Yes, they're probably going to need another surgery within the next 15 or 20 years. Even if they don't have surgery, they're likely going to have to do 1 or 2 sessions of therapy a year for the rest of their life. They're going to develop arthritis in that joint. They're going to likely have to take prescription pain medication at some point, you know, whatever it is. Or, you know, an additional surgery or disability. Once a doctor establishes that and gives a basis for his or her opinion, and especially if they do it pre-suit, you can include that in the demand letter. And if nothing else, the insurance company knows that the minute you file the lawsuit, you're ready to go to trial. And remember, other videos explain this in more detail, but insurance companies settle cases based on fear. Fear. That's it. And if they're afraid you're going to clobber them, they get afraid. And if they're afraid, they want to sit down and talk about settlement. And if they're not afraid, then they don't give a shit, right? If they're not afraid at all, they say, nope, we're taking it to trial because we know that your ducks aren't in a row. But if on day one when you file a lawsuit, your ducks are in a row, or let's say they want to mediate it, or let's say the insurance company wants a demand letter, you have all your ducks in a row in a case. You know, you have a lawyer who you hire who knows how to put the ducks in a row and then puts in the work to put the ducks in a row in your case and has your case ready to go on day one. The insurance company is going to kick it up to a supervisor and say, oh crap, this guy means business. Or they're going to say, you know, if it's in front of a judge on pretrial or a retired judge, if they say, let's try to mediate it, we're doing a settlement conference, let's try and get this done. Let's try and work this out. Judge reads that, it instantly puts your case in the top 3% of cases they ever see. You know, these judges see sloppy, half-assed preparation, you know, below average preparation at least, you know, half the time. And then when they see somebody who submits something and they're like, man, this guy's loaded for bear, they go into the other room and talk to the defense attorney and insurance company and say, not on this one, guys, you better write a check, right? So You have to do it. The lawyer who represents you in your case has got to do this kind of work, especially in a more serious case. If you get a lawyer who doesn't want to do any work and just wants to cash in quick, I mean, bully for them, I guess, but they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is representing you to the full extent and trying to get you every penny that you deserve. And if it means the lawyer's got to put in some money and case costs and work hard on the case, then that's what they need to do. So anyway, those are sort of like the inside baseball kind of things you need to know that lawyers and insurance companies and judges look at when they're trying to decide the value of the case, right? And if your ducks are in a row and you're checking all the boxes we talked about, it increases the value of the case, and it means that in the settlement stage of the case, whether it's way early or later on, it's just going to benefit you, but you have to have somebody who has the time, discipline, knowledge, and work ethic to actually put the case together like that for you. So anyway, I hope that insight and information helps you. I'm going to wrap up the video first by telling you thank you so much for being a viewer. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor and share my videos with anyone who you think might enjoy and appreciate them. And as always, if you like the videos, please subscribe, give me the thumbs up. And if you know anybody who has been in an accident, needs a lawyer, or even just has any questions, any kind of accident, work accident, car crash, bus accident, bar fight, dog bite, nursing home abuse, medical malpractice, if it's an injury wrongfully caused by another person, I'm your guy, okay? And you can call me anytime, night or day, any day of the year. Could be midnight on Christmas Eve, it's not going to matter. Could be midnight on the 4th of July. Doesn't matter. Your phone's going to get picked up. Your call's going to get picked up. And you're going to talk to somebody personally trained by me, okay? So the number to call is 312-500-4500. That's 312-500-4500. Completely free to call. I don't put any pressure on you. If you want to hire me, you can hire me. If you don't want to, you just want to talk, that's okay too. And what else? Some people aren't ready to talk to a lawyer. Or maybe you have an old case that you had a question about and it's over, but you don't really want to call the lawyer. I have two really, really cool tools that I created. One is called the Case Cash Calculator. It tells you what your value of your case might be. The other one is called the Good Case Calculator. It tells you whether you might have a good case or whether you might have a case with some challenges. And if you've watched my other videos, you know how important it is to find the problems with the case, not just the strengths, right? So both of those tools are on my website, links in the description. Both of them are completely free to use. You can share them with your friends. You can use them as many times as you want. And the cool thing is, they give you custom information on your case. Super fast to use and free. So this is a way for you to get custom advice and information on your case, not legal advice. Only a lawyer can give you legal advice, not an online tool, right? But this gives you killer information that I wish injured people would have when they don't call me, right? They'll get better information if they call me, but this is free stuff, and it is make or break information that I wish everybody had, and that's why I built the tools and made them free to use. So links in the description. Best part is that it literally takes 10 or 20 seconds to fill them out. It's like 7 multiple choice questions, and you get custom information on your situation. So check that out, link in the description. If you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. If you would not mind, I'm leaving a link in the description where, if you would be so kind, I'm in a very competitive market, lots of multi-millionaires, maybe billionaires, financing TV ads, billboards, everything all over the place. A lot of them are out-of-staters. None of the advertised attorneys, I don't think, ever touch a file. They sign up cases. They don't even have lawyers handle them at a lot of these firms. They have what they call case managers, who aren't lawyers, aren't even paralegals. They're secretaries or clerks that are barely trained. Anyway, I'm going to not be negative. If you enjoy my information, if any of the information in my videos are the free tools, or I've given you a free consultation where I gave you some good information, you wouldn't mind leaving me a 5-star review on Google, I'd really appreciate it. Link in the description. All you do is go to that link on your phone, tablet, or computer, click 5 stars, say a kind word, hit submit. Literally 5 or 10 seconds of work for you invaluable favor for me that helps me get clients so I can keep the lights on at my law firm. Okay? Really appreciate it. If you know anybody who has been in an accident and needs some advice and direction, needs representation, I'd really appreciate the referral. So once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous day. So thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.